Hello and welcome to this community outreach meeting on September 28th for Coastal Roots LLC, a proposed adult use marijuana product manufacturer, marijuana cultivator, and wholesale delivery operator establishment. This proposed joint use establishment will be located at 9 Charlotte Court, Building 9, Units A through C in Middleborough, Massachusetts. We have with us attorney Blake Mensing as representative of Coastal Roots. The principals of Coastal Roots are the individuals Samantha Carney and Brandon Lynch. We'll open with a presentation on the proposed establishment, followed by an opportunity for public engagement if any members of the public join. So with that, I'll turn it over to the attorney Blake Mensing.
Thank you, Quinn. As Quinn stated, this is a community outreach meeting. This is part of the Cannabis Control Commission's process toward licensure. As Quinn stated, this is 9 Charlotte Court, building number 9, units A through C, with 3 proposed licenses to be held by the single entity, a cultivation license, a manufacturing license, and a wholesale delivery operator license. I will note that this is a social equity company, which is a designation that they must hold in order to be eligible to apply for a wholesale delivery license. So we're going to cover some topics that the regulations require and leave an opportunity for questions to be asked if anyone ends up logging in. So the first item has to do with presenting information adequate to demonstrate the location will be maintained securely. So in broad strokes, 935 CMR 500.110 goes into details about what security functions the various equipment on site must have. Chief amongst them is commercial grade locks on every door, full 24/7 365 camera coverage from a full HD camera, essentially on every square inch of the facility, excluding the bathrooms for obvious privacy reasons. That footage must be stored for a minimum of 90 days. Each camera must be bear an irremovable watermark, date and time and location stamp on each feed, as well as the ability to freeze frame and print a viewable, legible image, in color from that. There's also limited access areas where certain members of the entity's hierarchy will be allowed and certain sort of lower level members of the entity will not. That is where all finished product and cash will be stored. The product storage vault really would be able to encapsulate all of the products that were output, cultivation products, manufacturing products, and the wholesale delivery operator license, as the name implies, allows its holder to purchase products that other producers, licensed producers in the state, might sell to them at wholesale. The wholesale delivery arm would be eligible to make deliveries to consumers' homes, provided the consumer was 21 plus, and the cultivation and manufacturing side, the available customers would be any other licensed entity in the state. Not really a public-facing building, not really part of the business. All cannabis transactions would occur either at another licensed establishment or at the home of someone who proved their age of majority and sort of signed up to receive that delivery. The drivers, there's 2 drivers required in a vehicle. The vehicle has to have GPS, camera coverage. They have to randomize their routes. They can't transport more than $10,000 worth of product at a time. And it's pizza shop model, not ice cream truck, meaning they can't load up for the day, run around town, play a weed jiggle, and try to get people to buy as is. It's from a specific order that may happen. That's all in line with abiding by the security regulations. And similarly, there are multiple checks to ensure that no diversion happens to minors. In this case, that's anyone under 21 years of age. So for delivery customers, again, they have to prove they're 21 in order to be eligible to receive it. The person whose name and picture is on the ID is the only one eligible to receive it at the door. The transaction is recorded, and each product, whether it's produced by Coastal Roots or produced by someone they're purchasing from at wholesale, contains a unique alphanumeric number, barcode, basically, to say this is where this product came from. It's entered into the state seed to sale tracking platform called Metric, METRC. So there's a trail of breadcrumbs to know who got what. So if a product bearing one of their, identifying numbers got in the hands of a minor, they'd be able to figure out, how did that happen and take steps to avoid any diversion. The state's Cannabis Control Commission and the regulations require that applicants and licensees have a plan to positively impact the community. So, here in Middleborough, there's going to be some efforts to do some good in terms of volunteer hours and potentially some local charitable donations. That's still in the exploratory phase. The state required positive impact plan with capital letters is intended to try to undo some of the wrongs of the failed drug war. So Coastal Roots has been exploring making a donation to a nonprofit called the Big Hope Project, which does expungement clinics, trainings to try to help people who were disproportionately impacted, who live in one of the 29 areas of disproportionate impact that the state identified, help them get into the industry, training, networking. They actually have a sort of mentorship program where they're trying to help people learn everything they need to do to get in. The last item that we're required to cover has to do with basically not becoming a nuisance on site. Long story short, any local permit, any state license, none of those would be a shield or a get out of jail free card if someone were causing a nuisance. For a facility of this size, the sort of chief potential culprit for a nuisance would be odor. What the Cannabis Control Commission regulations and the host community agreement with Middleborough require is essentially that you control that odor. That is achieved through technology, typically through activated charcoal carbon filters that get attached in line to the internal HVAC system. And similarly, there's some physical barriers. The plants don't just grow in an open warehouse. They're typically, grown within a climate controlled room within a room. And then any air that's exhausted from the facility gets filtered before it does so. There's no real noise concern. They're not going to have a fleet of 100 vehicles or anything as a wholesale delivery operator. So I don't think it's going to be much of any potential for nuisance. If they do cause a nuisance, then someone would certainly have the right to bring a nuisance action in court. So with that, I have covered the license type, the entity name, the address, the security, diversion of minors, positive impact plan, and nuisances. So with that, I'll turn it back to Quinn.
Yeah, I can confirm both that we received no questions through the online form before this meeting and that we have no members of the public. So I'll end this call. Thank you and have a great night.